poetry for my sorbet assaulter. I wish you death. One night, I was up in the kitchen, with my soft fingers on the ripened fruit, counting in the seconds to open the heart of the sway maiden. Do you recall, I ask you, can you recall, the night you touched my flesh, like the gradients on the scarred peel, hot reddish, shifting to orange feel, like so, my sewed skin mesh. I grab the knife and cut the heads, you do so and touch my ends. I feel uneasy, I want to fall, I feel sleepy, I shall be squall. What is going on? My head does not understand, my body does not desire your hand, there is no consent. You touch my lip, I reply with an explode. No. Regardless, you move in and sip. You kiss the skin of the grenade. No. That's when it happens. I'm cut open just like the fruit's organs. Half and half, juice drips sweeten. You've went under my clothes. My voice froze. On the counter are 2 pieces which can't anymore close. You move lower and I'm scared. I'm blocked in the maze with no end. There is the white pellicle now peeled off. My fingers can take the seed off. It is midnight. Thus, I'm taking out, bit by bit, the threads of scarlet, rubies of death, to open up your cavities like teeth as white, as doing now with the round bones, wall of reddish. I wish to fill your lungs, gums, throat, with sweetly seeded poems, to see your shiver for air. How can I not address this feeling of unrepair? To see your mind filled to the pulp, and after you've given your last breath, I shall throne over your soul. Being life-giving and death-dealing, I shall be the pomegranate.
We're all so self-conscious, smart and strong until we met a person who fills our whole heart and takes all of our time. And this is when you fall into a vicious circle and you return to this person over and over again, even if he hurts you to the point where you can't bear it anymore. But you simply can't imagine your life without this person. When I moved in with a person who was this kind of love for me, it was going alright until my first breakdown. My birthday that year was, to say the least, not what I expected, and I decided to go for a short trip to another city with my friends, just to take my mind off it. When I came back home, I found out that my ex had left the key in the lock. I couldn't get into the flat for several hours. And when I finally entered, I saw that I went to the kitchen and saw that our cat had run out of food and water. I started crying. He sat and put his head on my knees. He started to cry and asking for forgiveness. And naturally, I forgave him then. I was forgiving him everything, except for the last time we met. Once again, he decided to channel off his pain and life struggles onto me. In a fear of anger, he opened a pack of cigarettes and started to throw them at me, one by one. Then he opened another pack. Then he began to throw everything that was on the table. When he threw an empty beer bottle, I left and never came back.
We were celebrating New Year with her friends. It was way after midnight, we were both drunk and we were in the kitchen making glühwein. She pulled me into a kiss and a moment later, it's all faded now, but it felt like a moment later we were already in the bedroom. And then, well, we had not so consensual sex. I remember that I didn't want it, but I couldn't figure out how to stop a person who's already kissing you. I wasn't active at all, actually. Not then, not later, but I guess it was hurting. That happened again and again. luckily we lived in different cities, so it wasn't that often. And each time I didn't know whether I have an option to stop her, like if I already allowed it one time, why would I say no now? And I was 16, I thought, like, this is how relationship is supposed to look like. I remember how it ended. We were at her flat. At that time I was starting to come out to people around me, to friends, family. So I was wearing this t-shirt saying something like gender fuck. She was always ignoring the fact that I'm not cis. At that time she said something about the t-shirt, something mocking it, I guess. Don't remember what actually. And she went to the kitchen to make tea. I knew that we were going to have sex later, and I have this very random thought, what if I ran away right now? And I snuck out of the room, grabbed my shoes, and just went out. I was running down the cold stairs in my socks because I only remembered that I had shoes at the first floor. Yeah, and then I blocked her in a messenger that we used, and I didn't explain anything. I thought for a long time that it was me ghosting her. It probably was. This whole time I thought that it just didn't affect me. That was until I had a panic attack when another person kissed me. So I guess it affected me.
So the first time that he put his hands on me, the situation was that we met two girls and we got really drunk with also another friend of ours. And as soon as the two girls go away after having a really good night and drinking a lot, the two girls go away and he closes the door and he spits in my face. And I had a cup in front of me and I threw the cup towards him and I got him on his head. And after that he beat at me for the whole night. After that night I was blue. My face and my lips, my eyes. He gave me a kick with all of his force on my leg, and I had a bruise big as half of my leg. After that, there were a few other situations. One situation was that after kind of a light fight that we had, he didn't want to let me go out with a friend, and I was trying to get away from him, and I was already dressed, and he kind of pushed me into the room, and there was a pot full of water, and I was laying on the floor after he pushed me, and he spilled the water on me from the pot, and he told me that I should take a shower of consciousness. And then he took me and he brought me into the shower, and he opened the shower, and while I was all dressed, after that there was another situation where I was trying to get out of the house, and I packed all of my things, and I knew that was the last time because I couldn't take it anymore. And he was with a knife and he was saying that he would kill himself. And then the neighbors started banging on the door and saying that if he's not gonna open, they're gonna call the police. So he opens the door and the neighbors just get all of my stuff and take me out of there, and they called the police and everything. Police came, and that was the last time. He was very physically violent, and in some moments I really thought that I would die. I'm surprised for the fact that I didn't lose, an eye or teeth, or he didn't broke bones in my body. But there was also a lot of mental manipulation, and the mental violence was also really heavy.
From one day to another, I decided not to see him anymore, and I told him, we closed it, and I blocked him.
He was telling that I'm better than him, but not in an encouraging way, rather in a self-doubting, kind of blaming way. It made me doubt my own success and the amount of effort I put into that.
I was just a child when we first met in the middle school. Everything felt special about her mindset, her appearance, her knowledge. We bonded really quickly, and for that I felt like the luckiest person alive, just being friends with her. But it also felt like a temporary thing. Like one year we were besties, and the other she could tell me that I'm not grown enough to be her friend, that she gives up on me. Still, she wouldn't let me forget her. Every time I started to don't give a fuck about it, she would be in my life again and again. And eventually I accepted that what I deserve. She was the first girl I kissed and slept with. I wasn't romantically attracted to her, no, not really. It was that I wanted to feel closer to her, and it was a perfect way. It lasted for 5 years, being low-key, as she was presenting herself as a straight. She was the one who always made first steps, and I never rejected. When I tried to take initiative, she would play clueless, like we've never had that experience behind us. It was hurting pretty bad at the time, so I stopped trying in the fear of losing her. Through middle and high school I developed severe anxiety as I didn't have any solid ground under my feet. With that I didn't have any sense of self-worth. I felt worthy when she told me so, and I felt like I'm worthless when she told me that she gave up on me. I felt stupid and angry at myself by never understanding something I thought she understands. The years of this relationship shaped my character as a teenager who tried to figure herself out. The form I'm still trying to reshape as a young adult looking back at it.
We lived across each other. Our eyes would meet every time we would pass each other in the corridor. He would wink at me, do a little jig, and I would do the same. In the middle of the pandemic, other queer people were sort of hard to come by. I was still coming to terms with my sexuality, and this attention and validation satiated something within me. I remember those late nights in each other's room talking about life after high school or the state of the world. He was nice, no doubt about it. At least to me he was. At least for those months I thought he was. He would get into fights, not physical, but psychological and emotional ones. We had the same best friend, and I would always be the intermediary between these fights, amongst all of us. I remember all the times he would say, you should eat less, or don't you know I'm hurting too? Or the times he would invite me to bars and then decline the offer because I was underage. Those late night conversations turned into arguments, then into pity sessions. My friendships grew strained and tense. I remember it was the night of our worst argument yet. I was sitting on the floor and he asked me to have sex. I paused for a second, and I said no. I'm glad I did, but I still wonder what would happen if I did say yes. I feel guilty still for even talking about it. I know it could have been worse, but I'm so proud of myself for that no. For standing up for myself. And I still look back, because how could you not? And still wonder if I did say yes, would I have been able to fix him? Would he be able to fix me?
Hello, sweetie. Can you hear me? I want you to know how worthless I felt each time you dumped me. Each time I heard those bad words about myself that I've never heard before. I was done feeling like this. So dark, so numb. I've never felt cozy, warm, or safe with you. I only felt guilty, like I did something wrong, and I couldn't run away. Living with you was a prison set up for me. Endless nightmare in real life. Thank you. Now I know what it means.
It was the last New Year that we celebrated as a family. I was still living together with my parents back then. I didn't want to invite him, but he started arguing, telling that, "What do you mean you don't want to see me?" And I gave in. After midnight, he told me he has a present for me, but we need to go someplace else for it. And I wanted to spend time with my family and with my parents, my younger brother. I wanted to play Monopoly, to watch films. He led me into another room and told, "I'm doing so much for you and you are ungrateful." He was telling me that I'm bad, that I don't understand anything, and then he was sent by God to lead me and I would just follow. After that talk, I walked out of the room and I hugged my dad. In my mind, I was screaming for help, but I just couldn't say it. And we went away to a hotel. He got drunk. When we finally broke up, about 2 months after it, I was going for a vacation with my family. And I received a message from an unknown number. I blocked him everywhere. I'm already entering the train. He didn't even know about this trip. I didn't tell him. It was very spontaneous. And I received a message saying, "Hi, you are so beautiful. You have a great vacation in Abkhazia. Yours, Tyomochka."
He was a nice guy, but then a war has started in our homeland, because we are both Azerbaijanis. And if this war has not changed me much, then it has changed him dramatically. He began to believe in God very radically, and I began to notice nationalistic tendencies behind him. In general, he was a very, very good person. But after the war, he often became jealous of me for everything and everyone. He began to forbid communicating with male friends. During the relationship, I sent him nude photos. He started threatening me that he would merge them with my family, and my family also consists of deeply religious people towards Islam. I decided that this was the last straw and wrote to him that I was breaking up with him. At that moment, I had already left Russia and our relationship had already switched to a long-distance format for a month. As a result, after my text about the breakup, he pretended not to see him, and the next day I woke up at the hands of a roommate in the dorm room. The first words of her were, "Your naked pictures in the chat of our dorm." And then everything began. He started calling my grandparents at 3 a.m. and shouting threats into the phone. Then he started sending my mother gifts where he rips open my stomach. So these pictures were made by Photoshop. Then he leaked my photos to the university where I was enrolled at that time. In general, he arranged a specific humiliation. It would be hard to accept this if people in the Czech Republic would not care about it on their own principle. At that time, half of my relatives, after seeing my naked pictures, decided that they could stop communicating with me. Then good friends broke away. But this situation brought its benefits. I saw for the first time how my dad and my granddad were crying from impotence that they could not help me. After that, our communication became deeper, and now we often say how much we love our family and each other. As a result, we started writing statements to the police asking them to stop this mess, because half of the city had seen my pictures in total at that time. Also, this was not a problem. The trail of discomfort still remained. No statement to the police was effective. The policemen who came to our aid themselves honestly said that the laws in Russia do not allow them to put him away. After all, leaking pictures in Russia is not a crime. Also, they really wanted to put him in jail, at least for threatening to kill my family members.
They came to his house, talked to his family. They found his younger brother right at school during his studies and also interrogated him. He was 17 at that time. At some point, the police intimidated him so much with interrogations that he disappeared and stopped writing to me at all, and my family, and me generally, getting into my life.
One day I came to another city for my birthday. I was bored and I wrote to an old friend. When we met, she asked if I would mind going to her friend's house. I didn't feel there were any risks and agreed. I trusted her. We became to apartment of her 35-year-old lover. At that time she was only 16, an amphetamine addict and theater director. The apartment was very dirty. There was absolute chaos. I felt uncomfortable, but I didn't show it. Something attracted me to them. We kept in touch after our first meeting, and one day he invited me to visit him one more time. I felt very empty, and I grabbed this opportunity without feeling afraid. The night we met for the second time, I had my first sex, my first alcohol, and my first drugs. He was sexually obsessed, raped me, perceived everything as a theatrical performance. In it, I was just a doll that was controlled, placed in certain situations, dressed and played. After this, I felt a manic surge of strength and interest. My psyche buried this trauma deep inside. I didn't perceive everything that happened to me at that moment as something bad. I went on a spontaneous trip with my teacher and his family. Then I seduced my friend and his caused a break between him and his girlfriend. I felt the power to do whatever I wanted with people, just as he didn't to me. I went from a victim to a rapist.
By the way, it's all about the biggest loneliness I have ever felt, such moment when I was not lonely, in fact. So I was with someone who I thought I was the love of my life and the father of my children, not so, but actually in reality it was the really hard abusive relationship. I thought that I will die if I will go through all this situation without him, and I will go. I thought I will die, and it was the fact. And the meaning of the thing that I'm still alive and I am happy, I can smile, and I still love. It's the magic and the really, really big thing for me.
I was living in the darkness for years. We were both working from home. He worked at night and I worked at day. And because of he got a bigger salary, he assumed that his sleep is more important. That's why the all-day curtains were closed and I haven't seen daylight, only light from the table lamp. My flowers got withered and I thought I'm going to disappear without the sunlight. But when I told him about that, he told me that his sleep is very important because he pays for us all and nothing changed for years. He was addicted to meth. This stimulator got him sleep 3 nights, 3 days at the week. I needed the sleep of normal person, 7-8 hours a day, but when you live in one flat with person who doesn't sleep but do something or cleaning or just living, he don't give you opportunity to sleep. So I was sleeping 4 hours per day for years. I even don't know how I survived this. And when I asked him to stop or to leave, that I need to sleep, I'm literally dying, my health got worse. He told me that it's just for a short time, it will end soon, but it didn't end for 6 years. I was dreaming to take part in cosplay show for a life, but most of the time I thought I'm not good looking enough. But when I decided to take part in a big cosplay show on the stage for lots of people, I asked him to come and support me. And I even made a free ticket from him, but he didn't came because he was really drunk with his friends the day before, and he didn't came because he had horrible hangover. So first time on the stage, I was performing alone, no support from person who told me he loves me. He lied to me that he's sterile because he hated to use condoms, and I trusted him, but I got pregnant, obviously. He just left me some money for abortion and fled to other city because he got job to do. I can't imagine a job that can't be cancelled to support your woman who needs to get rid of your sperm. And we haven't talked about this at all. He denied everything that I am, everything that's me and mine. My music was awful. We hadn't watched movies by my choice in 6 years. He didn't let me to paint walls in my own flat pink because this color made him crazy. So we lived in pale yellow walls like in cheap hostel. He made me feel not at home at my own home that I was working for and I bought by my own. I was like an unwanted neighbor in my own home and with men who told me that he loves me. I want to say that if someone makes you hurt, if someone denies that you hurt, if someone denies your needs or desires, run, because it won't change. You will live in pain and you will always question yourself that maybe your needs are too much or you are too much. No, you just are with the wrong person. To feel pain is not okay. You were born for be happy. You deserve to be happy.